You're listening to a story at Mr. Poensky Audio. Wishing you all happy listening. Synopsis: School dismissed. The school gate was packed with students. I stood behind my egg sandwich stall, my hands moving swiftly like an assembly line, cracking eggs and flipping bread, the rising heat mixing with the noisy shouts. Quarters and dimes clinked into the box. Regulars didn't need change back. "Jesse, extra egg and sausage for me, please, I'll be back to get it." "Jesse, the same for me, like him, lots of hot sauce." "Jesse, I want extra relish." Sweat was soaking my back, but I kept smiling brightly. "Coming right up, don't worry, I'll take care of each one of you." A scoff came from the stall next to mine. A sharp voice rang out. "This brat is noisy all day, doing business like a total mess. Don't you know you're affecting others? Shameless indeed." Ever since I opened my stall here, her grilled kebab business had clearly plummeted. I didn't bother to reply, just quickly spun my wrist. The egg spread evenly the moment it hit the pan. Looking up, I took a deep breath and deliberately raised my voice. "Strange, where's that dog barking coming from?" The students burst into laughter. The owner next door choked, her face turning purple, and she quietly pulled her stall further away. A familiar girl tiptoed and whispered, "Don't mind her, sis. Her kebabs are both expensive and gross. Customers got tired of them ages ago. We tried to give feedback a few times, even asking for extra sauce got us yelled at. Now no one in my class dares to buy from her. Hee hee, Jesse's food is still the best, crispy and fragrant." I grinned from ear to ear. "You kid, I like honest people like you. I'll give you an extra grilled cheese sandwich later." The girl nodded, beaming, her eyes sparkling with support. Knowing I earned money for my college tuition myself, some even dragged their friends to buy to support me, and over time, they stayed because the food was genuinely good. I gained a loyal following, waiting for me every day. My hands never stopped, making sandwiches while listening to them chatter about everything at school. In the midst of that, a high-pitched male voice rang out. "The little owner is very generous, making food and giving it away." I turned my head. A tall young man with a confident demeanor, his sharp eyes slightly narrowed, his lips curved in a half-teasing, half-probing smile. The dark, flashy floral shirt he wore made the surrounding female students blush and look down. To me, his appearance meant nothing. What caught my attention was the Rolex watch on his wrist and the Ferrari parked behind him. But whatever, fantasies don't feed anyone. Money earned by my own hands is the most trustworthy. I smiled easily, my voice full of vitality. "Mister, would you like to try a sandwich? Delicious, clean, cheap, all fillings available, veggie and meat lovers." He raised an eyebrow, quickly putting aside the arrogant demeanor of a rich second generation, wiping his mouth as he cut in line. "One deluxe combo, extra meat, extra sauce, and no onions." "Got it, I'm on it," I replied, my hands ceaselessly flipping eggs on the pan. He tilted his head slightly, his eyes sparkling, saying, "Smells so good. You must be my sister, I can tell you're a professional." Before I could react, a middle-aged man stepped out of the luxury car, quickly strode over and delivered a resounding slap to his face. "Dan, I told you to go check on the situation, not eat sandwiches." The young man in the floral shirt chuckled awkwardly, rubbing his face and shrugging. The man turned back to me, his eyes instantly softening. "You are Jessica Zhang." I froze slightly. "Yes, you are." He extended his wrist. A gold bead bracelet dangled in the sun, unable to hide his affluence. "I am your father." That day, I quickly finished making 10 grilled cheese sandwiches, 6 savory pancakes, and 7 bowls of spicy noodles. Finally, when I was too tired to breathe, I dared to think about what he had said. It turned out that I, the baby who was mistakenly swapped years ago, was the biological daughter of the Thompson family. And that girl in the white dress standing far away was just a mistake. My father and the floral-shirted brother waited for me for a long time. He even ate 2 sandwiches, chewing heartily and exclaiming how delicious they were. When I finished work and stood before them, the man who claimed to be my biological father quickly took off the gold bead bracelet and placed it on my wrist, his voice calm. "Looking at you, I know you're my daughter, resilient, independent, good at business. From now on, you don't need to work so hard. Your father can take care of you." I couldn't guess how much sincerity was in that sentence. 2 other people also stepped closer. My biological mother looked at me, tears welling up in her eyes, trembling as she reached out. "Daughter, my daughter, Waya, come home with your parents." Right next to her, the gentle girl in the white dress supported my mother, her voice sweet and heartfelt. "Little sister, mother is so sad. Don't make her feel any more pain. Come home quickly." I looked at her once, my gaze icy. That face, a younger replica of my foster mother, Sharon Zhang. I gave a faint, insincere smile. "What? Sister, since when? Anything can just be called randomly." The crowded area fell silent. My biological mother, flustered, quickly said, "Jessie, don't be so aggressive. The swap wasn't Rachel's fault. You are both my daughters." I merely frowned slightly but said nothing more. Her hostility. Only a blind person wouldn't see it. I was brought back to the Thompson family under the name of the biological daughter. The luxurious house felt completely alien. Above me were two elder brothers, Alex Thompson, 35 years old, outwardly calm and reserved, the chosen successor of the Thompson group, and Dan Thompson, 28 years old, who seemed like a carefree playboy but was sharp-minded and lively, the same floral-shirted guy who bought the sandwich just now. He casually said, "The company is busy, the eldest brother couldn't come, so I came to pick you up first. Let's go, little sister." Though he still had a hint of naughtiness, his tone was gentle and warm, as if to comfort me. Throughout the journey, Dan Thompson kept asking about me like a nervous small animal. "Are you tired? Do you need water? Should I roll down the window for some air?" I leaned my head against the door, feeling carsick, and just mumbled a few obligatory responses. On the other side, Rachel subtly raised an eyebrow, her voice sharp as a knife. "Jessica, show my brother some respect. Don't be so rude, it's disrespectful. Our second brother is talking to you. Why are you so indifferent?" "Mother will be disappointed. Anyway, nobody is to blame for you being lost. Everyone misses you. Can you stop being so stubborn?" My biological mother, sitting in the passenger seat, glanced at me through the rearview mirror, her face showing awkwardness as if silently agreeing with her. I slowly opened my eyes, my voice calm but with a hint of disdain. "Mom, which mother will be disappointed? Is it the one I was lost from for almost 2 decades, or the one who raised me with beatings? I was forced to drop out of school, verbally abused, beaten without money for hospital visits, forced to earn my own tuition, stand in the sun and rain selling sandwiches, and I haven't even touched her yet. Don't try to use the word disrespectful with me. Not slapping you is a blessing." The atmosphere in the car instantly thickened. My biological mother froze, her eyes full of guilt. My biological father, who was driving, quickly mediated, his voice firm. "Rachel, your sister is carsick and tired. Don't bother her anymore." Finally someone with common sense. Rachel bit her lip, turned her face to the window, and clenched her dress. Dan Thompson secretly gave me a thumbs up, trying to hide his smile like a child covering his mouth. Impressive. I slightly curved my lips in response. For me, this was just the warm-up. "Dad," I spoke up abruptly. The man driving stopped, then joyfully replied, "Yes, daughter, what do you need?" My voice was choked with emotion but clear in every word. "Sharon Zhang is seriously ill. After all, she raised me. I want to ask permission to go back and take care of her for a few days." Before I finished, Dan Thompson interrupted, his tone half joking, half serious. "She has her own biological daughter. It's not your turn to repay her." I also discreetly gave him a thumbs up out of everyone's sight. Dan Thompson, praised by his sister, grinned widely. My biological mother spun around and glared at the second brother. "Dan Thompson, what kind of talk is that? Can't you control your mouth?" My biological father slowly spoke, as if pondering, "But your second brother isn't wrong. After all, Rachel is her biological daughter. We just welcomed our daughter home. We can't take Rachel's place beside her mother, too." Rachel's face instantly turned ashen, as if she had lost blood. I seized the opportunity, lowering my voice gently, as if yielding. "Sister Rachel, if you feel uncomfortable, I will go back and care for Sharon Zhang. Everyone should be grateful and principled." The gentle sentence hit like a slap. The air in the car fell silent again, broken only by the steady sound of the engine. "Mom and Dad, even though she wasn't rich and didn't treat me well, I believe a person should know proper etiquette. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for giving me such righteous morals through inheritance. HMPH, she's just a white lotus. Anyone can do that. I've been struggling to make a living. Could I really lose to a little kid with a snotty nose?" As our combined performance ended, my biological father looked stunned, his eyes slightly red. Worthy of being my daughter. You maintained your character even after all these years. Jessie, it's been hard on you all these years. My biological mother also softened, her voice gentler as she turned to Rachel. Rachel, your biological mother over there probably needs you to visit. Rachel's lips trembled, tears programmed to spill over. Mom, don't drive me away. I've been your daughter for so many years. Now, suddenly, a biological mother appears. I don't know what to do. My biological mother sighed, saying nothing more. On one side was the child who had been with her for many years. On the other, the sandwich-selling girl she just reconnected with. Blood ties couldn't immediately fill the gap of time, even though she knew her daughter had been abused to near death by her foster mother. Amidst the heavy atmosphere, Dan Thompson suddenly muttered, "Pity the magpie." My biological father was slightly taken aback. What? He shrugged, speaking as if to himself. The cuckoo takes the magpie's nest. The magpie is the true victim, its nest stolen, left with no home to return to. My biological mother immediately snapped. Silence! If you don't speak, no one will call you mute. Say one more unnecessary word and get out of the car right now. In the end, Dan Thompson really was kicked out. I used car sickness as an excuse and asked to get out with him for some fresh air. He patted my shoulder optimistically. No worries, at most it's a 20-minute walk. I gave a dry chuckle. What's 20 minutes? I used to walk 20 miles straight. He paused, the lazy playboy look from the car gone, replaced by a rare seriousness. He gently rubbed my head. I somehow felt like tears were welling up in his eyes. Dan Thompson's voice became solemn. It's okay. Your brother is here. I will protect my little sister. From now on, just hide behind me if anything happens. I tilted my head, my lips curving. Brother, can I borrow some money? He burst out laughing, patting his chest. Of course, how much do you need? $10,000. The generous smile on his face froze. He lowered his hand, his eyes serious. Little sister, I don't like that place-stealing green tea girl either, but hearing someone to harm others is illegal. We don't do those things. I looked at him, unsure whether to laugh or cry. Brother, I need the money to save a life. Is a mere Rachel even worth your sister spending money to deal with? 10 minutes after listening to my story, Dan Thompson was silent for a moment, then rummaged in his wallet, pulled out a bank card and placed it in my hand. There are $20,000 in here. Go save the person. Don't hold back. The Thompson family residence was located on a mountainside, a villa as spacious as a private hotel. When we entered, the dining table was set, everyone waiting for the two siblings to arrive. The moment I stepped into the dining room, I met Alex Thompson. The eldest brother wore a cold-colored suit, his long, slender fingers gently pushing his gold-rimmed glasses up his nose, his eyes behind the lenses cold as a knife, staring straight at me. Looking at him, I clearly saw hostility, as if I were an outsider who had strayed into his territory. Immediately, Rachel jumped up, her eyes watery, her voice trembling. I'm sorry, Jessie. It's all my fault. Don't be angry like you were when you got out of the car and demanded to walk home. I will yield my position, yield my parents, and even my brother to you. You don't need to rush to drive me out. I will pack my bags immediately after dinner. Before I could open my mouth, Alex Thompson quickly rubbed Rachel's head, his blamming gaze entirely focused on me. She's just someone who doesn't know her place. No one can drive my sister away, not even her. In my head, only two words echoed: comedy. The moment I stepped into the house, I was branded with a pile of baseless accusations. I straightened my back, my voice calm but every word hard as steel. May I ask when I ever said I would drive her away? My parents and second brother were in the car the whole time. I got out because I was carsick, not because of her. Do you need me to call witnesses? Or should I call a doctor directly? I fear she might be suffering from delusional disorder. Rachel choked, the tears she was about to shed stuck, unable to continue. I looked directly into her eyes, giving her no chance to evade. Why do you have to pretend to be pitiful in front of the eldest brother to falsely accuse me? Are you trying to sow discord within the Thompson family? People say a harmonious family prospers. Do you want to see the Thompson family decline through internal strife? Rachel's face flushed, her voice strained, unable to speak. I slowly pulled up my sleeve to reveal the bruises and scars covering my arm. Old and new scars piled upon each other. My voice was low but clear. Alex Thompson, open your eyes and look. This is the result of over a decade of living with her biological mother. While she enjoyed wealth and luxury, living like a princess in a castle, I struggled to survive, endured hardship, lacked family warmth for 18 years. On what grounds are you here to criticize and judge me? The faces of my biological parents completely changed, their gazes toward Rachel and Alex Thompson filled with displeasure. I quickly shed a few tears, then deliberately wiped them away, showing a stubborn yet self-respecting demeanor. Immediately, Dan Thompson pulled me close, his hand on my shoulder like a small wall shielding me. His voice was cold, each word aimed directly at his elder brother. You rushed to scold someone before the facts were clear. Do you manage employees at the company this way too? The question was light but hit his credibility hard. Alex Thompson's expression darkened. He instinctively looked towards his father. Unfortunately, his father didn't respond with a single glance. I lifted my head from my second brother's embrace, my voice soft. Since you yourself said you wanted to leave, then sister, just go decisively. If you don't dare or can't do it, stop making a show of it and then turning around to blame me. Are you relying on his protection, relying on mom's kindness to help others? That's why you want to frame a helpless person like me, isn't it? The words were like a knife. Rachel froze, her expression clearly shattered. Now, don't be so tense. My biological mother quickly intervened, trying to ease the atmosphere. Rachel sighed in relief as if clinging to a lifeline. Dan Thompson pouted, letting out a soft, subtly sarcastic remark. Mom is too partial. My mother glared at him, then softened her tone as she turned back to Rachel. Rachel, now that Jessie is back, the room that was prepared for her should be returned. Dan Thompson's face immediately brightened, his eyes shining as if he'd struck gold. In contrast, Rachel stood motionless, unable to believe her mother had said those words. Before she could react, Alex Thompson quickly spoke up for her. Mom, we have so many rooms, just choose anyone for Jessie. Rachel is used to that room. Your action will only make things awkward for both of them. Just then, Dan Thompson gently pinched my arm. I instantly let out a heart-wrenching scream. Tears flowed down my face as if I was utterly distraught. The entire dining table fell silent, all eyes fixed on me. Dan Thompson shook his head, cooperating with a tone of deep regret. One word, tragic. After being displaced for 18 years, the moment she steps foot back home, she's treated coldly. Even her room is taken by someone else. He patted my back, whispering, his voice sounding genuinely sincere. Cry, little sister. Crying is not a sin. Cry out all the pain and sadness. It was the first time they had seen me cry like that. My biological mother forgot to scold Dan Thompson, quickly leaned over the chair, gently wiped my tears, her voice significantly softened. Don't cry, child, I'm here. My biological father looked at the scene, waved his hand decisively. That settles it. Butler, tidy up the young lady's room immediately. Then he turned to his eldest son, a faint smile on his lips, but with cold, knife-like determination in his eyes. You should remember your role and act accordingly. If you can't even distinguish such a simple matter, who would dare hand the company over to you? Alex Thompson choked, unable to utter a single word. That dinner felt heavy, like a stone pressing down on the chest. Everyone bowed, absorbed in their own thoughts. The butler worked extremely fast. After the meal, Rachel's designer clothes and handbags were packed and piled in front of the living room door. I stepped into my new room, running my hand over the polished rosewood wardrobe, casually stuffing my old backpack of clothes inside, and then threw out a generous final blow. I don't have many belongings, just this much. If you can't fit everything outside in the living room, you can put it in my closet too. I don't think the living room will be big enough. Rachel's face was white as if she'd swallowed something bitter. My biological parents didn't look much better, a fleeting look of sadness and shame passing over their faces. My biological father handed me a bank card. There's $1 million in here. Take it to buy some clothes. Don't be stingy. Before I could thank him, he turned and instructed Dan Thompson. You're free all day. Now that your sister is home, remember to take care of her more. Dan Thompson immediately extended his hand, thick-skinned and shameless. What about my allowance? My biological mother said nothing, raising her hand and tapping him on the forehead. Get out. In the room, Dan Thompson sprawled on the desk, resting his chin on his hand, watching me fold clothes. My sister only has a few pieces of fabric and you're taking forever to fold them. Mom and Dad said I should take you shopping for new clothes later. I stopped, glancing at him. You seem to hate Rachel. Did you know she wasn't your biological sister early on? He shrugged, randomly pulled out a book and flipped through it. Man's intuition, you wouldn't understand. I've had a bad feeling since I was a kid, vaguely sensing something was off for many years, but I still couldn't adapt. When I saw you selling sandwiches, it took me less than 5 seconds to confirm. I chuckled softly, tilting my head. So, is our eldest brother just slow-witted? Dan Thompson paused for a second, then burst into louder laughter than I did. Don't tell me your guess is right. I was blunt. It feels like you have a personal feud with him. Dan Thompson snorted disdainfully. It's just that I simply can't stand him spoiling that green tea girl. It's brother, oh brother, every day. It sounds like a chicken clucking when laying an egg. It gives me goosebumps. Anyone who didn't know would think they were a newlywed couple. If you stay a bit longer, you'll see how strange it is. She likes causing trouble and working behind the scenes. She's got some guts, but that's about it. She always uses tears to solve problems. Nobody in the Thompson family is like that. Hearing that, the two of us looked at each other, speechless. Even an outsider like me could sense it, let alone Dan Thompson, who lived at home all the time. Thinking back to how Rachel and Alex Thompson treated each other, there really was a hint of something forbidden. The power of supermoney truly cannot be overstated. Under the Thompson family's arrangement, I returned to school, placed in the honors class of the high school section at the Noble Academy. The procedures were completed incredibly quickly. What bothered me a little was that Rachel also studied here, becoming my classmate. Truly, a mosquito buzzing in my face. On the very first day of school, Dan Thompson deliberately chose a blazing red Corvette from the garage, insisting on driving me to school. I swallowed hard. Aren't you being a bit too much? This is called a preemptive strike. Get in the car, I'll open your eyes to the world. The reality proved his action was very wise. When the students saw that the person opening the car door for me was not the butler but Dan Thompson himself, the public opinion immediately shifted. The roaring engine of the sports car couldn't drown out the surrounding lively discussions. Who said Jessica Zhang was an adopted daughter? Look, even the rebellious young master, Dan Thompson, personally drove her to school. That rumor seems to be true. What rumor? Oh my God. It's the story about the baby swap years ago. Jessica Zhang is the true biological daughter of the Thompson family, and Rachel is the fake daughter, shamelessly clinging on and refusing to leave. Now she's the Thompson family's adopted daughter. I clapped in my heart. Indeed, worthy of the Noble Academy. Everyone here has a noble background, and even their gossip is incredibly bold, talking loudly right in front of the people involved. Rachel's face, needless to say, changed colors in a highly amusing way, from pink to red, then to white, and finally pale green with anger. She immediately yelled at the crowd, "Are you all old village gossips? Mind your own business instead of meddling in others. Can you please shut up?" Next to Rachel was her close friend, Tracy. The outfit she was wearing, I recognized as clothes Rachel had previously worn. Tracy made no attempt to hide her disgust toward me, glaring contemptuously and pinching her nose. No wonder she's a sandwich seller. She smells entirely of grease. Wearing fancy clothes can't hide her common, rural essence. I don't dare get close. I'm afraid of catching some unclean disease. Everyone around stopped gossiping, turning their attention to watch the explosive drama unfold. In a verbal battle Jessie, have never lost, I calmly countered. Still better than being a dog. The outfit you're wearing was deemed ugly by her, thrown on the floor, stepped on a few times, and then given to you. Yet someone is treating it like a delicious bone, licking it clean. How interesting. Tracy's face went pale. She instinctively turned to her side. Rachel quickly explained, "Don't listen to her, she's playing divide and conquer." I gave a cold laugh. Some people even had the labels cut off before they wore them. They thought they were wearing a custom design, and that's why there was no label. Little did they know the labels were intentionally removed by someone else. I had overheard her calling Tracy and making up a reason why the clothes had no labels. Tracy glared at Rachel with anger and immediately turned to leave. Oh, true beauty means being a best friend. A slight flaw and she immediately turns her back. This kind of friendship is fragile as paper. Just a touch and it tears. The bell rang for class. The teacher called my name to introduce me to the class. I took a deep breath, stepped onto the podium, stood straight, and looked confidently down at the class. Whispers below. Is that the new kid? Yeah, I heard she used to sell sandwiches. How funny. Doesn't that mean she's from the slums? I caught Rachel's gloating eyes. Not flinching, I gently pulled up my sleeve to reveal the scars and bruises all over my arm, a silent answer. My voice was clear and steady, every word deliberate and firm. Hello, everyone, the rumor is not wrong. I did sell sandwiches at the school gate, $7 for two. As you can see, I've come a very long way to be able to stand here in front of you. I had to endure hunger, lack of clothing, being beaten, and being driven out of the house on a cold winter night. I used to wonder why other mothers loved their children, but mine was different. But I never got an answer. In the end, instead of complaining, I stood up on my own, earned money for tuition, and struggled to cope with life. Is there anything to be ashamed of? No. What's shameful is living dependently, unable to support oneself, not working hard with your own hands to live. I don't glorify misfortune, but I also won't bow down to hardship. Those years taught me to understand human nature, something that textbooks never will. Now, I'm fortunate to have the chance to return to my biological parents, to have the right to be loved like everyone else. I won't waste that opportunity. I'm not here to ask for pity, but to study, to prove that I am worthy of any position. The hardships I endured will illuminate the path ahead. I paused, looking directly at the entire class, a slight curve on my lips. Life is long and wide, meeting each other is fate. I am Jessica Zhang. It is an honor to meet you all. Having said that, I bowed slightly. The atmosphere in the room completely reversed. From curiosity and contempt, eyes began to soften. Applause rang out, initially sparse, then surging like a wave. Even the young masters and mistresses who had never known hardship had tears welling up. The usually strict homeroom teacher, Ms. Johnson, secretly raised her hand to wipe the corner of her eye. The nobility values lineage and upbringing the most, but at that moment, my confidence and honesty made me stand out more than any rumor. Sincerity to the core is truly unbeatable. In the eyes of the elite, selling sandwiches was ridiculous, beneath their class. But Rachel never expected me to proactively expose my past to the class, and that very act earned me respect. A straightforward voice rang out in the class like a stone dropped into a lake. The mother abused her child, and the daughter shamelessly took her place. Truly a fine mother-daughter pair. The sentence ignited the crowd. Whispers swirled around Rachel. Her smug expression immediately vanished. Normally, Rachel's green tea tactics were familiar, so the students judged her accordingly. This time, it couldn't be called adding fuel to the fire. This was just the appetizer. The main course was still to come. Returning home, Rachel suddenly saw an uninvited guest sitting in the living room. She froze, startled. Who let you here? Get out immediately. Sharon Zhang raised an eyebrow, slightly surprised by her biological daughter's attitude. Can't I come? What's the problem? Rachel panicked, pulling and dragging her. Just then, Dan Thompson walked down from the upstairs, leaning against a chair, smiling like a cat playing with a mouse. Oh, did you two know each other before? Rachel quickly denied it. No, I don't know her. Sharon Zhang bit her lip, not saying a word. Dan Thompson and I exchanged glances, a silent understanding passing between us. The private investigator was right. These two have been involved with each other before. According to the information we had, Rachel strongly disliked Sharon Zhang but was held in check by her. For the past few years, she had been regularly transferring money to Sharon Zhang to keep her quiet, clearly stating that I should not be allowed to appear. But paper can't wrap fire. When the tie was broken, Rachel cut off contact, and Sharon Zhang came to demand her rights herself. Accepting Dan Thompson's invitation, Sharon Zhang brought a few sets of clothes down from the mountain. The moment she saw me, she instinctively yelled, "You brat, hurry up and carry my luggage." Dan Thompson cleared his throat softly, and her arrogance immediately deflated. I smiled, my voice gentle. The Thompson family is in need of a maid. $10,000 a month. If you want the job, sign the contract. If not, please leave. The faces of both Sharon Zhang and Rachel changed color simultaneously. Dan Thompson clapped his hands, his voice light but sounding like a final judgment. The Thompson family doesn't keep useless people. We're only giving you this chance because you were Jesse's foster mother. Otherwise, with your background, don't dream of setting foot here. Sharon Zhang had long gambled away her money. Dan Thompson and I discussed giving her the maid job. Didn't Rachel want to completely cut ties with her biological mother? I am not a saint. The way she treated me still haunted me daily, wetting my pillow every night. Now that I have a chance for revenge, I must seize it by any means necessary. Didn't Rachel want me to never be found? Then I want to see them tear each other apart. Sharon Zhang hesitated, looking awkward. Being a maid is fine, but I need a month's salary in advance. Rachel panicked. I don't agree. Dan Thompson was cheerful. Isn't it just a month in advance? Of course. Let's go, Ms. Zhang. I'll show you to your room. Sharon Zhang ignored her daughter's awkward situation, excitedly following him into the guest room. In her eyes, the fact that she swapped her child so Rachel could live a luxurious life was something the girl should be eternally grateful for. That evening, when my biological parents and eldest brother returned, they frowned at the blackened food on the table. Who cooked tonight? From the kitchen, Sharon Zhang, wearing an apron and chewing on bird's nest, ran out. It was me. Alex Thompson glanced at her, her mouth full of food, her clothes shabby, and couldn't help but ask Dan Thompson, "Don't bring random stray cats and dogs into the house." Rachel bit her lip tightly, her eyes red. I took the opportunity to stab her again. Brother, why do you say that? Aunt Sharon isn't a cat or a dog. She's Sister Rachel's biological mother. Look how much they look alike. Only then did Alex Thompson notice Rachel's unusual expression, and his confidence immediately deflated. Why wasn't such a big matter discussed with the family first? Aunt Sharon misses her daughter and just wants to stay for a few days. I deliberately didn't specify which daughter. Everyone fell silent, lost in their own thoughts. Sharon Zhang's treatment of me was evident from the wounds on my hands, which they had seen on the first day I came home. Sure enough, that night when I got up for a drink, I overheard my father whispering to my mother, "Do you think a wicked woman like her Mrs. Jessie? It must be for money." My mother mumbled, "Don't talk nonsense. They haven't even met. It must be for money." My father sneered. "I don't know what kind of spell she cast on you and our eldest son. You're the ones being led by the nose. Our biological daughter is back, but she's not treated as well as an outsider. Jessie was beaten like that. As a mother, you've lost your conscience. Others want to compensate in every way possible, but you keep saying, fairness, they are both my daughters. Look, the other girl, pampered by you, but how was my daughter treated by others?" Well, I know that even raising a cat or dog creates affection, let alone Rachel being with us for so long. But if the girl behaved appropriately, I might grudgingly accept it. But no, my mother retorted, her voice filled with unconcealed annoyance. Scientists say genetics are only 40%, the rest is the environment. Rachel was personally raised by me, but Jessie grew up out there. Spending years with Sharon Zhang, don't be fooled by her youth. She's probably as shrewd as those market vendors. I didn't listen to the rest. A chill ran down my spine, straight into my empty chest. I had been at the Thompson house for less than 10 days when Sharon Zhang came to borrow money. "I don't have any money," I was resolute. She gave a faint laugh. "Impossible. Your biological parents are so rich, they even bought you a bag worth tens of thousands." I pretended to be surprised, dragging out my voice. "Really? I heard designer bags like that hold their value well. Selling them would be as good as gold, right?" Sharon Zhang's eyes lit up. Before leaving, she warned me not to tell anyone I borrowed money, especially Rachel. I nodded and smiled. After the short break, I returned to school and everyone's eyes were fixed on me. Rachel lowered her head and whispered to Tracy. Seeing me approach, the two immediately dispersed. Tracy showed a look of contempt again. "You guys reconciled faster than I thought." I curled my lips. "Stare at me like that again and I'll punch you." Tracy didn't expect me to say that, stomping her foot and murmuring, "Thug." I chuckled softly, my eyes narrowing with hidden meaning. Still better than some tail-wagging dog. Poking her sore spot, Tracy couldn't hold back. "How dare you put on airs with me after your shameful acts? You're so young and already going to the Obgyn department. Who knows which guy you hooked up with while selling sandwiches?" She held out her phone. It contained a candid photo of me, with the sign for the Obgyn department in the background. I was holding a test result slip, sitting on a waiting chair in the hallway, but I burst out laughing. Looking directly at Rachel, who clearly showed a guilty expression, my voice was even and sharp as a knife. "It must have taken you a lot of effort to stage this photo, right? Next time, let me help you. Tusk, how dare you try to deceive people with such a crude photo?" I zoomed in on the picture. The slip clearly stated blood donation test, and the sign could be photoshopped by anyone. Trying to create public opinion with this tactic, truly naive. If your IQ is limited, your methods are even more mediocre. The sentence silenced the entire hallway. Tracy's eyes momentarily showed panic, while Rachel sat still, acting as if it had nothing to do with her. Tracy was so angry she choked. You. I was nonchalant. But classmate Tracy, I really did go to the Obgyn department, but I went with someone else to help them. The crowd of gossips pricked up their ears. I deliberately paused for suspense, then slowly said, Rachel. The crowd gasped. Rachel shrieked. You're lying. I never went into the Obgyn department then. I just stood outside to take a picture. Don't you dare slander me. Everyone exchanged glances. I was amused by her stupidity. Oh, classmate Rachel, you can falsely accuse others, but you jump up quickly when others slander you. So you took the picture and you also fabricated the rumor about me. She was speechless. Someone spoke directly. Rachel is truly scary, always plotting behind people's backs. She still thinks she's the Thompson family's eldest daughter. Hanging out with her, you never know when you'll get stabbed. Exactly. She has a character problem. Just before, she tried to steal someone else's boyfriend, claiming they were good friends, that she was helping to manage the boyfriend, and ended up causing them to break up. Yeah, and that's not all. The history teacher warned her about her poor study attitude. She went to his office and cried, then accused the teacher of improper conduct, ruining his reputation and career after so many years of integrity. Later, when a student provided clear evidence, she just cried and said she was too sensitive and misunderstood. A friend, unable to tolerate it anymore, spoke up. Jessie, quickly clarify this matter. Who knows what else they're planning to fabricate? I believe you. I took a deep breath. Thank you, everyone. The person I went to the hospital to visit is the most important person in my life. One cold winter night in grade 10, Sharon Zhang, drunk, chased me out of the house. Shivering from the cold and starving, I stumbled along in the night, stopping in front of a pancake stall by the road. I hadn't eaten dinner and my pocket was empty. The pancake maker was a woman in her early 30s, her face tanned but with a gentle smile. Little sister, want a pancake? I swallowed hard, deeply inhaling the fragrant aroma wafting in the cold wind, forcing a smile. I don't have money. She softly replied, It's okay, consider it my treat. In the lonely winter night, the faint yellow streetlights shone down on the small food cart. The steam from the pan rose, smelling delicious, warming the entire section of the sidewalk. Next to her, a little girl sat squatting, eating and intently listening to her mother tell stories. She told me I could call her Ms. Miller. Ms. Miller flipped the pancakes while talking about her life. Her husband, a construction worker, fell from scaffolding and died. Her mother-in-law took all the compensation money and kicked the mother and daughter out. She showed me her cracked phone screen. A photo of a little girl appeared, Minnie, 3 years old with 2 small buns of hair, wearing a yellow dress, smiling brightly like sunshine in the winter sky. I don't need her to be excellent, I just hope she's safe. As long as she's alive, I have hope. I was stunned into silence. Was that what true motherly love was like? Her small pancake stall, with its never-dimming yellow light, became my haven many times after being chased out of the house. Ms. Miller was only about a decade older than me, but she gave me the tolerance, encouragement, and warmth of a sister, or even a mother. When Sharon Zhang refused to pay my tuition, Ms. Miller helped me overcome my distress. I learned how to make sandwiches. From the technique to the tools, she taught me little by little. I didn't take any rent money, and would immediately come to help her sell when I was free. A month before I was recognized by the Thompson family, little Minnie, now 5 years old, was diagnosed with leukemia. The doctor said the basic treatment alone would cost at least $200,000. I visited her in the hospital and saw Ms. Miller emaciated but her eyes still bright, her smile unchanged, as if she was trying to fight fate with her spirit. Minnie politely called me sister, sitting obediently on the hospital bed, coloring the pages of the secret garden book I gave her. Ms. Miller looked at her daughter, her voice trembling but firm. As long as there's a sliver of hope, I won't give up. I'll sell everything I own to cure Minnie. That day I went home with Dan Thompson was the moment I decided to borrow money to save the child. When I placed the card in Ms. Miller's hand, It was the first time I saw the strong woman break down. She hugged me tightly, her hot tears streaming down. "Thank you, Jessie. Without you, I wouldn't know what to cling to. Consider this money a loan. I will definitely pay you back." Later, I found out that on that very day, she had already decided to end her life. Minnie's illness, the huge mounting cost, and she herself had been diagnosed with a serious stomach illness. The woman had thought of death for the first time. The money I brought cut short that thought, forcing her to seek medical attention and start saving herself. But the moment I took Ms. Miller for a follow-up check and a blood donation test for myself, Rachel secretly took a picture. When I finished telling the story, the righteous young women in the class simultaneously wiped away their tears. One girl tightly held my hand. "If Ms. Miller and Minnie need anything, you must tell me. My uncle is the director of the children's hospital." Others chimed in. "I can donate money. Just one handbag each would be enough to help the child." The emotions of the young people flared up quickly. In just a moment, I was surrounded by enthusiasm. I smiled, trying to keep my voice steady. "Thank you, everyone. Later, when Ms. Miller opens her pancake stall again, you can go support her. That would be a huge help." Agreed, absolutely. The first pancake I buy in my life will be from Ms. Miller's stall. Seeing Rachel quietly retreating from the crowd, I quickly stepped forward, tightly grasping her wrist. "Now, let's settle this matter clearly." She immediately changed her tone, her eyes welling up, her voice soft as candy. "I'm sorry, it was all a misunderstanding. I only believed what others told me." I didn't let go, my eyes cold as steel. "Who was that person?" she stammered, unable to speak. I raised my voice. "I kindly provided the opportunity for you and your mother to reunite, yet the two of you couldn't restrain yourselves and even tried to slander my reputation." I raised my phone, opening the surveillance video. Inside, there was a scene of her and Sharon Zhang secretly standing outside my room door. I projected it onto the large screen right in the middle of the classroom, adjusting the volume to the highest setting. Rachel's voice echoed in the video. "You stole my bag easily, why didn't you dare steal hers?" Sharon Zhang said bitterly. "Stolen? You're my biological daughter. What's wrong with me selling it for urgent money? Don't forget, if I hadn't intentionally swapped you two back then, how would you have this life as a young mistress now?" Rachel snapped. "You bring that up every time. The money I've given you over the past 5 years is enough for you to buy several apartments. You're the one who couldn't hold on to the opportunity and couldn't even keep an eye on her." Sharon Zhang immediately softened her tone. Yes, Mother knows she was wrong. This is truly the last time. Help me one more time, okay?" Rachel glanced at the empty hallway, lowering her voice. "Last time I saw Dan Thompson give her a pink diamond. It must be worth a lot." The end of the video showed the two of them holding an exquisite gift box, looking utterly satisfied as they left my room. The entire class erupted as if the market had broken out. "Oh my God, this is truly shocking. It turns out she knew she wasn't the Thompson family's biological daughter all along." I slightly curled my lip. That pink diamond was a fake that I personally swapped out. It wasn't worth much compared to the real one. The day I moved into the Thompson house, Dan Thompson complained to me about the eldest brother. "I just simply don't like him spoiling that green tea girl. Anyone who didn't know would think they were a newlywed couple." Hearing that, he and I were both silently looking at each other. A bold idea flashed into my mind. What if I installed cameras in my room and the hallway outside the door? This floor was only occupied by me and Alex Thompson. If there was truly anything suspicious between Alex Thompson and Rachel, it would be too convenient for them, and convenient for me. I never expected those cameras to actually record quite a few things. The clip I showed today was only the tip of the iceberg. The matter was clear. Rachel and Tracy had nothing left to say. Rachel cried again, claiming she was forced, that she had no choice, but of course, no one cared. She had used every means possible to prevent me from reconnecting with my family multiple times. Although the evidence was destroyed, I must have my revenge for that grudge. She gave money to her biological mother to arrange to sell me to a local abuser, something Sharon Zhang had admitted when drunk. "That girl told me to do that to you. She's truly more vicious than I am, but I never expected you to escape and return here. She said she wouldn't give me any more money. It's all your fault, you replacement." At the time, I didn't understand who she was referring to, thinking she was just another one of her clients. Now it was time for the final curtain. When the clip showed Rachel staying in Alex Thompson's room for over half an hour, her face flushed. Running back to her room clutching her shirt, the entire living room fell silent. My father jumped up, delivering a thunderous slap across Alex Thompson's face. "Bastard!" My mother trembled, her voice cracking. "She is! You dared!" Alex Thompson lifted his head, stiff-necked, arguing back, his eyes red like a madman's. "We're not blood-related." Many years ago, she had a blood type test, and I was the one who picked up the results. From then on, I knew we weren't siblings. We are truly in love. Dan Thompson raised an eyebrow, immediately focusing on the key point. "So you knew she wasn't our biological sister all along, but you still wanted to deceive Mom and Dad, is that right?" Sharon Zhang sat in a corner, head bowed, shrinking back, barely daring to breathe. Dan Thompson shifted his gaze directly at her, a half-smile that was colder than ice. "Ms. Sharon, the money you stole is enough to file a police report. I can't believe we wanted to give you a chance to be close to your daughter, and you turned out to be a wide-eyed wolf." She fearfully fell to her knees. I was wrong, I was just temporarily confused. It's so poor in the countryside. I've never seen money before, so I..." Dan Thompson strode forward, his voice deepening, each word like a splash of cold water. "When Jessie cried and begged you not to hit her, did you ever feel any pity for her?" Sharon Zhang trembled like a falling leaf, her eyes vacant, collapsing onto the ground like a puddle of mud. The result was that Sharon Zhang was arrested for intentional theft. Alex Thompson moved out of the house, and his right to manage the company was revoked. As he left, he still held his back straight, saying, "No amount of money can triumph over true love." He didn't want to neglect his true feelings for trivial material possessions. I felt like retching. Truly, spoiled people go mad. After years of having everything he needed, he never truly knew what real hardship was. My biological mother was full of remorse, constantly using money to compensate me, but most of that money I invested. The person I placed my bet on was Dan Thompson. On the outside, he seemed like a playful loafer, but in reality, he had been secretly nurturing many potential startup projects. Dan Thompson was practical and responsible. He understood that the heir's position carried the heavy responsibility of the entire family. In the face of family ties and the legacy of the Thompson family, what was a little twisted romance worth? Before, the entire family only criticized him for spending money like water. No one knew that money was building a company. In the Thompson family, he was the person I trusted the most. Rachel completely vanished from my world. I only knew that she was shielded by Alex Thompson and peacefully retreated from the storm. 3 years later, my investment blossomed. Dan Thompson became the new CEO of the Thompson Group, his demeanor soaring, radiant like the sun. In contrast, Alex Thompson returned looking utterly pathetic, his shirt wrinkled, his beard unkempt, his face haggard, looking a decade older. The moment he stepped through the door, Dan Thompson immediately hit a nerve, his voice light as the wind. "Oh, did the genuine little green tea girl give you a cuckold's hat? I thought love would treat you very well." The air was silent. I sat behind, slightly curving my lips, silently watching everything unfold like a chess game I had arranged long ago. Alex Thompson could only clutch his head and wail. He thought he was still the Thompson heir when he left home. He wanted to enjoy the glory brought by the family, but didn't want to be tainted by common materialism. Truly hypocritical and foolish. My mother glared at Dan Thompson. "Shut up." Dan Thompson smirked. "The child who understands is the one who doesn't get the candy." No matter how much my mother protected him, he would never have another chance to return. Dan Thompson didn't need to utterly destroy him. Everyone knew that for over 3 years after moving out, Alex Thompson had been living with Rachel. Until a few days ago, she suddenly dropped a bombshell. "Honey, I'm pregnant." Her voice was timid. She thought the eldest brother would be overjoyed, but Alex Thompson's eyes were not joyful, but horrified, then turned to anger. He grabbed Rachel's collar and yelled, "Whose baby is it? Tell me now." Rachel was confident. "Of course it's yours. We didn't use protection last month." Alex Thompson gave a dry, harsh laugh. "I've been diagnosed as unable to have children." The sentence cut like a knife. Rachel froze. She listened to Sharon Zhang, thinking that just getting pregnant would secure her position with the Thompson family. The moment she discovered her pregnancy, she actively prepared the paperwork. As long as the child was legally recognized as Alex Thompson's, the biological father didn't matter. Alex Thompson heard her explanation. "You could still be misdiagnosed. Maybe there's still a chance. I believe you," he screamed, his eyes bloodshot. "Fine, let's wait until the child is born and do a paternity test. Do you dare?" Rachel trembled, the word dare stuck in her throat, unable to be uttered. Alex Thompson took in all her expressions, feeling his world instantly crumble. What else was there to explain? He threw his phone and smashed things. Rachel cried, changing her tune, pleading. "I know I was wrong. It was just a moment of weakness. I wanted to try something new. Please forgive me. I'll get rid of it. Can we start over? You've done so much for me. We must continue together." But it was too late. Blindly loving her, Alex Thompson lost all his family, career, and reputation. Later, when I was casually chatting with Dan Thompson, I narrowed my eyes. "The fact that Rachel cheated must also be partly your doing, right?" Second brother shrugged nonchalantly. "I only gave her a slight push. Who's to blame if she couldn't withstand the test?" I clapped twice, chuckling. "I didn't expect you to be the legendary type that plays the pig to eat the tiger." Dan Thompson's lips curved, his gaze becoming sharp as a blade. That year, my eldest brother listened to her and cut the brake cables of my mountain bike. Luckily, I survived that time. Since then, I promised myself that one day I would make both of them taste the feeling of digging their own grave. Waiting for so long was precisely for this day. As the sentence dropped, the air around me seemed to solidify. I never expected their greed to be so great. Yet they kept talking about how money couldn't buy a person's heart. HMPH, weren't they the first ones to turn corrupted? Dan Thompson was once a more suitable candidate for the CEO position. After that incident, he started pretending to be a reckless playboy. In the end, that was the best shell to hide himself. We are both the same, people who repay grudges and repay kindness. My brother looked at me, extending his hand. "Jesse, the day you came home, I promised to take good care of you. I will definitely support this family. Welcome into my world, little sister." I looked at him, completely trusting, giving a bright smile in return. Darkness is where I grew up, but light is where I will always move towards. As long as my conscience is clear, the path ahead will naturally be bright. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. I deeply appreciate your comments, suggestions, and feelings. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.